hi there. I didn't see you. You caught me hating augmented reality. AR's in kind of a funky space right now. Magic Leap has the ML1, Microsoft has HoloLens 2. Neither piece of gear is really that great yet, and they're both expensive enough that the companies that make them are primarily targeting enterprise customers. A lot of this has to do with the fact that in an enterprise situation, the applications developed in the general usage are going to be pretty specific, and these are large companies that can afford the high price of the hardware and expect to make a decent return on their investment. On the consumer side, Apple has ARKit, but the interaction is still kind of weird because you're actually looking through the screen of your device on the outside, looking into the scene. And although some interesting things have been done with this, in a lot of respects, much of what's been produced so far has been kind of novelty or niche, and it's just not really there yet. This seems very familiar to me, and what it reminds me of is the era before iPhone even existed, when you had smartphones from BlackBerry, Windows phones, Sony Ericsson, that kind of thing, and they were expensive. They were predominantly used by professionals, and the ecosystem just wasn't that great. And then iPhone came along and just changed everything. I mean, it was hugely disruptive. And of course, they'd worked on it for years in secrecy, and when they rolled it out, suddenly everybody had like about a year to come up with something that competed with it. And so like RIM did some terrible things, and then they eventually went by the wayside. Windows, Microsoft kind of plugged along for several years, but like in 2017, they stopped doing anything phone related as well. Obviously, Android emerged over time and became a viable alternative to iOS. But it took time. And I think that we're at the same moment now with augmented reality. And at some point, like it's pretty common knowledge that Apple's working on their own augmented reality glasses. This is obvious from leaks and patent filings and that kind of thing. And I am certain that when this drops, it's going to be like when the iPhone came out in the first place. And when that happened, like I had to be a part of it. Like I had just started a company that was focused on Mac development, and as soon as I saw this thing, I knew that I needed to be a part of it and that I wanted to make products for it. When Apple glasses hit the market, they'll offer an immersive AR experience for mainstream users. But the platform itself is already here. It's this. The glasses will be used for input and output, a display for rendering UI elements and showing information, and most likely a LiDAR camera for our visual input and computer vision functions. But it'll leverage the iPhone, a device with a system-on-a-chip architecture that Apple has relentlessly customized and optimized to meet their own needs. And this could be a tremendous advantage for the Apple glasses because with the iPhone handling most of the processing overhead, the glasses should have a much lower power consumption requirement and hence a better battery life. Not only that, the A13 Bionic chip has phenomenal performance capabilities, twice as high as the Snapdragon 850, which is what's used on the HoloLens 2, and still significantly higher than the later released Snapdragon 865. And this will all be to tremendous benefit of the people who use it. High performance, great battery life. Also, in the same way that Apple allowed third-party developers to use app extensions so that their apps could have a presence on the watch, it seems almost certain that they're going to do something similar for glasses. In that way, with some modifications, you'll have some way for your app to express itself and have a presence within the context of AR. And if they do this, it could be potentially a huge win for them in the sense that with some modification, almost the entire App Store catalog could be made available to people to work with AR glasses. And this is a huge strategic advantage that they're going to have over Microsoft and definitely over Magic Leap, who has a fairly small catalog of third-party apps. And I have to say, Apple was brilliant by rolling out ARKit on iPhone well ahead of the glasses. This has allowed them to basically fly in plain sight and iteratively work on perfecting their platform and their APIs, and at the same time build up a development community that is familiar with ARKit and the Vision APIs. which means that when the glasses drop, people are going to be ready. Like they'll have been developing apps for this context already, and they can hit the ground running, which is amazing. I don't know who came up with the idea of doing it this way, but my hat's off to them, and I'd love to shake their hand. Part of the reason I'm excited about this is that a wearable augmented reality experience could open the door for a huge number of possibilities. Apple brought smartphones to the mainstream, and they're poised with the addition of computer vision and machine learning to usher in an era of a smart world where we can discover, navigate, and learn about the environment around us in ways that we've never done before. And I think that is also going to hugely improve things like home automation and your experience around the home. And it could open the door for a new wave of incredibly ergonomic virtual work environments. And I think that's like a long way off, but imagine always having something that's exactly the distance away that you need it to be in order to read it, and always at the right height. When you think about like the slew of neck problems and back problems that come from conventional desktop working environments, this could be the groundwork for something that is amazing and where those problems are in the past. One of the areas that I'm very excited about and hopeful is the possibility of augmented reality and computer vision as an assistive technology for the visually impaired. If the possibility is there for haptic feedback, this could offer effectively a sonar system for people to be able to navigate around their house, navigate around obstacles, be aware of things that are coming towards them, and potentially with gesture recognition and object recognition be able to do something like reach out and very quickly grab a cupboard handle and open it up and grab an object with feedback built in and that kind of thing to help them correct and zero in on what they're looking for. That again too, probably a long way off, but these are the steps that will get you there. And lastly, this is the Wild West right now, like for virtual reality and augmented reality both. Like interaction mechanisms haven't been locked down yet. People are still trying a lot of different things and seeing what works. And in the same way that there was just a sprawling amount of incredibly innovative UI design work happening in the early days of the iPhone, I think that there's an opportunity here for interaction designers and third-party developers to really get experimental with how we actually interact with our apps in an AR context. And some of those things will probably stick. Lauren Brichter gave us, the swipe menus for table cells. There's so many things that could come out of this that could help improve these experiences, and I feel like third-party developers are going to have a pivotal role in this as well. And I could be wrong about this. Like the platform may be so locked down that we can't do anything like this, or maybe it'll be so limited that we can't do very much either. I mean, maybe it is just effectively going to be a watch that you put in front of your face. So you've got the same sort of basic, quick in, quick out interactions, and maybe nothing that immersive at all. But I don't think so. And I don't think, even if it was going to be that limited, I don't think it'll stay that way forever. And I think a lot of great things are going to happen. And I haven't been so excited to work on a new platform as I am with this since the first iPhone came out. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can do with it. I'm looking forward to seeing what other people can do too. So I think that's it. And I hope you enjoyed this. And by the way, if you want to hear more things like this, obviously, subscribe, like, and hit that bell. Rah.